Hi everybody, it's the Ultimate Rabbit here again, coming up here with another video review of a recent release. Today, we're going to be talking about Eli Roth's Thanksgiving. Oh my god, I chipped a nail. Oh my god, and company's coming over soon. God, what am I going to do? This is so embarrassing. But look at this, look at this! Hi everybody, as you notice the background here is a little bit different from what you just saw at the beginning of this review, and I just want to say thank you for noticing that. Thanksgiving, of course, started off as a fake trailer for the 2007 film Grindhouse, directed by Robert Rodriguez and Quentin Tarantino. That was a great time at the movies. Unfortunately, that movie was a commercial flop, but the funny thing is, despite that, the movie has had quite the afterlife, as it featured a number of fake trailers that have somehow managed to become films. We have 2 Machete movies courtesy of Robert Rodriguez. We have another sort of offshoot from Grindhouse called Hobo with a Shotgun, which featured one of Rutger Hauer's last great performances. And now we have Thanksgiving. Roth said that the Grindhouse trailer of Thanksgiving was a 1980 movie that was so offensive that every print was destroyed, all screenplays were burned, crew members changed their names, and the director disappeared from the face of the earth, or at least from public view. But that was a great idea for a trailer, and I think a lot of people were coming into this movie hoping it would be sort of like a satire of 1980 slasher films. Instead, this film is more of a reboot of said trailer, and it's more of a straightforward slasher film, and more importantly, it's a love letter to slasher films from the past, especially from when it comes to holiday-related horror films like Halloween, New Year's Evil, Black Christmas, Silent Night, Deadly Night. Yeah, and so it's straightforward, but all the same, it's still. This is not to say it's deadly serious. In fact, this movie was a flat-out blast for me. And I enjoyed it. I laughed harder at it than any other film I saw this past year. And the gore, there is plenty of gore, blood, and viscera throughout. And it's so over the top. It's wonderfully absurd. And again, couldn't stop laughing my ass off. It was hilarious. The movie starts off in the town of Plymouth, Massachusetts, where everybody starts off with a nice Thanksgiving dinner. And next thing you know, we are brought to another holiday, which really also brings out the best in humanity. Yes, I'm talking about Black Friday, where we see the characters go to a Walmart-like store to take advantage of that free waffle iron, which is going to be available to the first 1,000 customers. And as you can expect, everybody is acting like animals. And this is made worse when some of the teens and some of the other characters we see at the beginning of the film make their way into this Walmart-like store to take advantage of certain items, and of course all hell breaks loose as customers break in, grab their free waffle irons, people get stomped, there are bones broken quite painfully too, and then the movie moves ahead a year later to where the residents of Plymouth, Massachusetts are basically trying to move on with their lives despite the tragedy. But in the midst there is a man wearing a John Carver mask who is starting to hunt out a number of people from that previous Black Friday. And you need to believe the tagline of this film when they say, "There will be no leftovers." And there certainly isn't. You know, I was afraid this movie could have ended up like Machete Kills, which was Robert Rodriguez's sequel to Machete. That one was kind of like a parody. It was trying to be one of those so bad it's good movies. It's sort of like an over-the-top parody of movies like it, and it just didn't work. And I appreciated that Eli Roth did a more straightforward version, a little more serious version of the film. But this is not to say that it's not funny or not fun. I had so much fun watching this film. It's so over the top. It doesn't reinvent the slasher genre, but it's not trying to anyway. It's really trying to be a love letter to those films, and in some ways, it's even a better produced version than many of those films ever were. I mean, most of these slasher films are done with the smallest of budgets, and this one had not a huge budget. I think it was around 12 to 15 million, but you can see there was a lot of heart and soul put into this film. You could tell everybody in front of and behind the camera had just the greatest time making this film, and I certainly had the greatest time watching it. It is kind of reminiscent of other horror films. It's hard not to think of Scream, as it features a killer wearing a mask that is, dare I say, generic and the kind that everybody has. So the movie is kind of a mystery in terms of trying to figure out who this man is, who John Carver is. Does it all make sense? I don't care. I just enjoy myself thoroughly watching this film. I also really like the cast. This is a very well cast horror film. Gina Gershon shows up here, and it feels like it's been forever since I've seen her in anything. And she's fantastic here. Rick Hoffman, who I'm sure you remember as a devious American tourist in Eli Roth's Hostel. He's a lot of fun to watch here. And of course you have Patrick Dempsey. And this casting couldn't be more perfectly timed, as he has just been crowned People Magazine's Sexiest Man Alive. Now that is a position I do intend to grab hold of at some point in this lifetime. Please don't say it can't be done. I have no patience for that. In addition, you have the cast, the teen cast. They're all really good. Addison Rae, Milo Manheim, Yalen Thomas Brooks, Neil Verlacque. I probably screwed his name up. Nell Verlacque. That's right, I did screw his name up. Or is it a she? Yeah, I screwed it up. Anyway, and also Jenna Warren. They all give their typical teen characters inhabiting a horror movie just a lot of energy, a lot of enthusiasm. Is it scary? Yes, there are some very good time scares. One that literally made me jump up because just when I thought I knew when it was coming, it came even sooner. And with horror movies, I can always I'm not so much afraid of the visuals as I am the sound. Sometimes you'll see me doing this, closing up my ears, because the sound gets to me in a horror movie more than the visuals. But the visuals really, they did their job. There are some images from the Grindhouse trailer that are featured here. You do see the parade. There is a Thanksgiving parade where the Thanksgiving turkey does get its head chopped off. There is the bit in the gymnasium with the trampoline, with the cheerleader jumping up and down, completely unaware that her boyfriend is got his neck turned around 180 degrees. You know where she's going to end up landing. Just thinking about that is painful. Now, when it comes to Eli Roth, I've kind of been back and forth on his work. I really enjoyed the first Hostel movie very much. And I even have good things to say about Green Inferno, which, despite having a very poorly acted beginning and a very perplexing ending, had a very fascinating center section, which for me alone was worth the price of admission. As for Knock Knock, it has a great opening sequence where we get to zoom in onto the main character's house, and it tells you everything you need to know about him and what he does. Everything after that is excruciating to sit through. But when it comes to Thanksgiving, I really think this is one of Eli Roth's best films. He really loves the genre. It shows in every frame. And it's just fun. It never lags. And it's just the kind of movie, it is kind of trashy fun. And God knows we need good trash every once in a while. And it'll be interesting to see where he takes things from here. As I record this review, a sequel to Thanksgiving has already been greenlit and should be heading into theaters, I think, in 2025. So yeah, man, this was just a gory delight, and just hilarious. I really enjoyed this film. I think a lot of audience members will join it too, especially if you're fans of this genre. So I'm going to give this one 3.5 out of 4 stars. Is it perfect? Hey, few movies are. Don't even worry about that. Just go in, have fun, and don't take any of it seriously. What's the point? Thank you all for watching, ladies and gentlemen. And I do have to say, this movie taught me a very important lesson. You can die from drinking too much White Zinfandel. Just keep that in mind, and remember, after you see this movie, table saws will never be the same.